Yes. Anna, I must say I won't be able to stay the whole time, so I'll just when I say bye bye, you know. Okay.
No problem, because you know, it's gonna be in the recording, so you can catch up anytime.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Uh, thank you, Heise. So before we get started over here, I would like to next time, last time, I guess Lynn, he came up with this wonderful idea of us sharing books among each other. So he sent me a very long list of books, and I guess I shared some of them with you. I will go back to his list again to pick some. But today I got some ideas or suggestions from myself, and I have the Astral City, the book of Astral City from Chico Xavier and the Spirit André Luiz, Great Lion of God, a novel about the Saint Paul from Taylor Caldwell, and A Pillar of Iron, a novel of ancient Rome. So these two books over here, Great Lion of God and A Pillar of Iron, they are not, how can I say, psychographed. They are, you know, Taylor Caldwell, she was not a medium per se, but I have read these two books, and so for example, Great Lion of God tells about the whole story of Saint Paul, but not the saint. She, like I said before, she had access to this library from the Vatican Library, and she did research in thousands of, you know, documents, and she had this talent of putting a very good amount of information. So whenever you read her books, you feel like you are in there, because she's bringing the real atmosphere from, or the real ambient from that period, and then she's talking about the human being, Paul, and all his anxieties, all his doubts, and, you know, all the challenges that he had. But through historical documents, she is showing, she is outlining his interchange process. So it's a very nice book to read. And I picked this one, A Pillar of Iron, because it is a book that tells the history of the senator Cicero. And he was a very famous one. He is a very famous one because he's one of the supporters of the Republic institution. And in this book, it tells from his childhood all the way until his death, and all his deceptions, and how can I say, his conflicts per se, as he was perceiving all the problems that the Republic institution at his time already had. And what amazes me is the fact that despite this book was, I mean, Cicero lived like almost 2,000 years ago, but it's almost like reading the problems of the societies that we have to deal today. So meaning we have not changed that much, but these two books over here, The Great Lion of God and A Pillar of Iron, they are very much alike in terms of they have the same environment, they have the same kind of atmosphere, but they were written within 65 and 1970, meaning they were written 30 years after this book over here, this very book over here, the Paul and Stephen, that was written by Chico Xavier. And if you read this one that tells about the story of Paul, you will see the same kind of ambient. You will see the same kind of how can I say, the same type of structure in terms of how the two authors, how they present to you all the background, you know, how the society was living at that time in the cities and all the aspects, the culture, the behaviors. It was like Chico have access to the same documents as Taylor Cowdell had 30 years later, which is not possible, right? So that's why I recommend these three books. We already talked about this, Paul and Stephen, in the previous meeting, so just feel free. And the way that and the reason why I recommend Astro City is because the book, if you had the chance to watch the movie, the book is much better. It's like if you watch the movie and then you had a chance to read the book, I would recommend you to go back and watch the book, the movie again, because now you really understand what the movie is about. It's impossible to tell, like, in an hour and 40 minutes or so, all the information that the book brings to us. Okay, so I recommend all these three. Agenda. So we just had the lecture from Julio, the power of forgiveness. The good news is Julio is coming back to us. He did agree to talk to us about self-forgiveness. It's just a matter of trying to find a spot in his agenda. He's very busy. I'm saving over here September the 17th. Maybe he will be able to talk to us by then. I tried to bring him earlier, but his agenda is really tough. And the other good news is it's been a year since Sonia Rinaldi talked to us. And I did talk to her, and she agreed on talking to us on August the 6th. So by August the 6th, she will come back and she will share with us the recent discoveries in her researches. Okay. And as far as prayer, let me pick somebody here. Giles, since you were talking today, would you please read the prayer to us?
Why, yes, indeed. Dear Jesus, may our study today always be filled with peace, prosperity, and love. May your blessings shower upon the whole world and grant upon each of us a bright, healthy, charitable, and peaceful days to come. Master Jesus, please make our journey a happy one, not by shielding us from sorrow and pain, but giving us strength to bear it if and when it comes. Shine your light in us, through us, over us. Protect us, this group, this study, from any undesirable influence. We ask for your guidance and protection for our lives and the life of our family and friends. Set your way before us, Jesus. May we make a difference in this world for your glory and fulfilling your purposes. And so be it. Let it be.
Thank you, Giles. Thank you. All right, so guys, one thing that I would like to share with you is that on July the 1st, we had this Brazilian medium. His name is Divaldo Franco, and I guess I mentioned him before to this group, but he was awarded with this recognition from the Brazilian government, and with this order named Rio Branco. This medal is actually the most important recognition that can be given by the president himself and the Brazilian government. It is something so important that only the president can hand over this medal to someone else. So back in 2021, I guess it was in the second semester, the Brazilian government decided to award this medal to Divaldo Franco, but then back then he was the medium, he was sick, he could not travel to meet with the president. So then what happened was this year, on July the 1st, the president himself, he was visiting the city where Divaldo Franco lives. And then the president scheduled a meeting with Divaldo Franco. And that meeting happened on July the 1st, when then finally that medal was given to Divaldo Franco. Again, it is the most important recognition that the Brazilian government can give to someone. And evidently it was not for any reason, but for a very good reason. And I will show you later why. So before then, Divaldo, before this medal, this recognition, Divaldo got more than 900 recognitions, most of them in Brazil, but also he got some international recognitions, like, for example, here in United Nations, he had the chance to speak to the members of United Nations. That, as a matter of fact, that's the picture that I have right here. So, but the interesting fact is all of these recognitions, all of them, Divaldo Franco, he transferred to the Spiritism doctrine, because of people like Chico and Divaldo. So Spiritism was finally officially recognized in Brazil as a faith, one of the faiths that is recognized by the government, by all the institutions, public institutions in Brazil. According to 2015 Pew Research Center data, Spiritism got 13 million adherents worldwide. 13 million people today connected somehow with Spiritism. And in Brazil alone, there are about 3.8 million. Bear in mind that this is about a nation that not too long ago was absolutely Catholic. That's the predominant faith, right? So this means that for every, 3.8 million people in Brazil that today consider themselves as Spiritists. This means that for every 3 Kardec followers, 1 is Brazilian. As a result, the largest Catholic country in the world, with I would say now is about 124 million faithful, according to the 2010 census, right? So this 124 million faithful started to boast another title, right? So the largest Spiritist nation on the planet. And in 2002, Divaldo was then awarded by United Nations for his work in disseminating the Spiritism. So this picture is really from 2002 when he was visiting United Nations here in US. So there is a movie, I guess this movie is 2 years old, something like this. There is a movie about his story since he was a little kid, a young man, and as he became this medium. I did try to find an English version of this movie to share with you today. I even tried to contact Divaldo Franco organizations, but seems like that English version is not available yet. There is a Spanish, so Giles, if you want to see, there is a version in Spanish, but not English yet. I highly recommend watching that video. It does have a very nice overview about his life, but most important, it does bring a lot of learnings and teachings as far as the Spiritism goes, as far as Kardec's teachings goes. You will see, lots of opportunities to learn from this individual, from Divaldo Franco's life, and from this movie. It is a movie that is similar to the movie outlining Chico Xavier life, and same way, it's just about how Spiritism did influence Divaldo Franco's life and did change completely his life there. So to the point that today he is one of the most important benefactors of social programs in Brazil. So I'm gonna run this video a little bit. It's about all the social work that Divaldo does in Bahia state. And so you have a chance to know a little bit of what his work is about. The video is 14 minutes, but I'm not gonna run the video in full. So let me know if you can hear or not.
Survival transformed into labor. Labor, which at Mansão do Caminho has another meaning: solidarity. Here, everything starts very early, animated by the first rays of the sun from the morning dew and by the awakening of life. However, in order to nourish the body, the soul must first be at peace, thus creating another beginning which blooms from within the mediumistic soul of Divaldo Franco, a sensitive humanitarian, completely devoted to the Spiritist cause. A man who one day had a vision that later turned into a place that is now known as Mansão do Caminho. Such social work is of extreme importance for the city of Salvador, for the state of Bahia, and for the whole country. The more attentive observer for the social causes notices the greatest plight of human survival within the less fortunate social classes takes place in the beginning and in the end of every existence. Therefore, the Mansão do Caminho is not only a temporary shelter, but a safe haven along the way and at all times in the journey of life. With a firm purpose to create more than a mere palliative solutions for these families' concerns, the Mansão do Caminho was planned with a definite mission: to give to these people the right to work, education, health, leisure time, all independent of their age, race, and religion. The chosen location, which is the center of a poverty-stricken neighborhood, had been psychically identified by Divaldo Franco, characterized by social isolation and violence, where more than 70% of its population lives below the poverty line. And it's here in this area of 840,000 square feet of land in Pau da Lima, Salvador, that Divaldo Franco, aware that the social debts are simply enormous in this country, has been performing a remarkable social work for more than 50 years. Here, the most important goal is not simply to bring help, but to capacitate the members of the community to face every demanding and complex work field. The methods employed by Mansão do Caminho offer the necessary conditions to thoroughly assist the youth and the elderly, giving emphasis to education and health. The financial resources stem from psychograph books, CDs, and videos of the conferences and seminars conducted by the medium Divaldo Franco, let alone the partnership with some public institutions. The Mansão do Caminho also had the invaluable help of volunteers, without whom it would be practically impossible to keep it running. Let us get to know the work more closely by spending a day at the Mansão do Caminho. It's 7 a.m. Everything is ready for the journey of a new day. The gates are open to receive 3,100 children, ages 2 months up to 18 years of age. 170 infants are brought to the manger nursery. While their parents are at work, they can be assured that their children are being well taken care of. Here, each child's basic needs are met, such as hygiene, education, nutrition, and above all, tenderness and care is given to each one. Children ages 3 to 6 attend the Kindergarten of Hope. Here, 400 children start their first steps towards their preparation for a fundamental education. Mansão do Caminho offers materials, uniforms, nutrition, and everything that is necessary to develop their skills. Starting at age 7, children may attend Jesus Christ, Allan Kardec, and Alvarado schools, ranging from 1st grade up till 8th grade. Over 2,600 students are offered nutrition, uniforms, and materials to fulfill their educational needs. For 440 adolescents, the Mansão do Caminho offers professional courses in industrial sewing, information technology, bakery, carpentry, auto mechanics, masonry, tapestry, and landscaping, preparing them for the workplace. Return to their homes, Though at Mansão do Caminho, things never stop.
Ninguém, porém, como Jesus. Ele conseguiu uma harmonia tão perfeita que ele fez o guia e o modelo para a humanidade, como revelaram os Espíritos. Jesus é a presença máxima diante de nós. Nesta hora troanesca de guerra, de anúncios de guerra, de violência, de agressividade, Jesus é a paz dúlcida dos corações.
Through lectures and meetings with people from all social classes and backgrounds, the medium Divaldo Franco seeks to raise awareness in order to build a more just, humane, charitable, and happier society.
So guys, it is amazing how little one can achieve without any money, right? Without any major resources, but with his only determinism and his willing to help others. So it's not a matter of money, but it is a matter of being willing to help others in need and actually work towards that. With that, I hope you enjoyed. So last time that we stopped reading the book, we were reading Law of Preservation, Means of Self-Preservation, question 707. The question was, there are always individuals who lack the means to survive despite living surrounded by abundance. Who should be blamed for this? And the answer from the spirits at the selfishness of humans who too often prevents them to do what they need. Next, and most often, the individuals themselves are to blame. Christ said, "Seek and you shall find," but these words do not imply that all you have to do is look down on the ground to find anything that you may want. You must search for what you want passionately. And just watching this video from Divaldo Franco, that's what I think about. You must search for what you want passionately and with perseverance, without being discouraged by obstacles that are often only a means of testing your determination, patience, and resolve. So with that, let's move to the next, The next question then is, that's the comment. Question 708, are there any social situations in human life when the will is incapable of obtaining the means of existence? And in that case, the deprivation of the most fundamental necessities is a consequence of such circumstances. So that's the question. Any comment, any answer without reading the, so Giles, how do you see in your version over there? How is the question? You are on mute, just in case. Yeah, you are on mute.
My initial response to that is that the nightmare lives available on this planet are indeed capable of providing circumstances just like that. And it is a matter of regret that the rich on this planet do not realize or will not help the poor. It is a matter of regret that there are social situations in the human life when they are incapable of obtaining the means of the existence, in which case they will die of hunger or pestilence, disease, or predatory insects or animals. And I cannot tell you the answer to this. All I know is that there are all kinds of incarnations available. And the desperate take any incarnation they can get. And the desperate are the ones who have just become human and are working through their first 1,000 or 2,000 incarnations. And they will take anything available, even a war in Ethiopia. And there's the social situation where the will is incapable of obtaining the means of existence. And all I can hope and guess is that most of us are over halfway in our incarnations, and we no longer have to be so desperate as to take such a painful and almost meaningless existence. Of course it has meaning, because you learn about birth and you learn about death and suffering in between. Now that's the purpose of the entertainment of a human life. In that case, the deprivation is a consequence of such circumstances? No, it's a consequence of that soul's development, being desperate for an incarnation that it will take anyone. Whereas later on, we take a more relaxed view, that is 10,000 incarnations later, I don't know how many, a lot. And we take a more relaxed view and say, no, I'm not doing that. I will take one which has parents that can, in America, that can put me to school, or Australia that will put me in school and not torture me, and so on. And these you have to wait for. Sorry, I'm making a long speech, and because this is a very tricky question, and the only thing that makes any sense to me is the ongoing development of individual spirits according to the number of incarnations that they've had, being a measure of their development. Okay, I'll shut up.
Yeah, thank you. So as a matter of fact, the spirits, they say, once we become aware of all the things that we have done in the past, they say that we do not ask, but we beg for the lives that we choose to live. So we beg for those challenges, and the spirits, they advise you, well, you have to be careful. Are you sure you can really cope with the level of difficulties that will be ahead of you if you choose to live that path? And then knowing what we have done in the past, and they say that we say, yes, we can do it. But normally, once we are born here, then we forget what we've done. We forgot that we forgot what we agreed on, and then we just give in, right? We just choose not so challenging ways. But we are learning. No big.
Sorry, Gloria, I have to answer Anna here. There are many circumstances where our guides in the afterlife will caution us about the kind of incarnation we take. And a nasty, awful life in a primitive society where you die age 3 isn't going to help you very much. The ones that are to be really cautious about are ones where you make $10 million by the age of 20 and think the world is your oyster and forget everything and start behaving like an absolute idiot. And this is a serious temptation, and because it's Oh, I don't know. Let's have Gloria comment. Sorry.
Thank you, Giles. Gloria, please.
Several articles and news stories this week have talked about the tens of millions of people on Earth who are facing severe food shortages and starvation, and the situation is dire, and how Putin's blockade of wheat leaving Ukraine is exacerbating that whole situation. And that was the first thing that came to my mind. Are there any social situations in human life? Yes, millions of people are in danger of dying in the near future because of one man's actions and his greed and his power, you know, his lust for power. It's a human sickness. I just can't comprehend. And I guess I have a problem with our saying, well, we can't do anything about it. It's a political thing and we can't do anything about it. Ugh. One man and we can't do anything about it. It's just really, really upsetting.
Yes, and as a matter of fact, in regards to what you just said, when I see initiatives like the one from Divaldo Franco that we just saw, I feel myself so ashamed, you know, that's how come one person did that? Chico also did a wonderful job, and so many other folks did, you know, like Mother Teresa, and they were just a single person and no money. But yet they did a wonderful job. And then we how come we can just say, oh, there's a political, you know, problem, or is a political thing, is a political issue, or it's always somebody else's thought. But then we just it's just an excuse for us to not act, right? I guess.
I'm sorry, I have to interrupt here again. I just read yesterday that the chief arms factory of Russia, making tanks and repairing tanks, has refused, no, it's the only one in Russia, has refused to continue supplying tanks to the military. And the reason is the government's not paying them. It is the most ludicrous story you could ever come across. You're welcome to look it up and make your own decisions on it, but that the main tank supplying factory in Russia is refusing to accept any more tanks for repair or provide any new ones because the Russian government is not paying them. Or if it owes them 50 million, it pays them 5 million and says, we'll get you the rest. And they've been doing that for 2 years. And so hey, the thing is beyond crazy. I mean, Mark Twain said it when was it him? It says, when you realize we're all mad, things start to make sense. So this is massive entertainment and lunacy within the Russian society. I'm sorry, Luis, I butted in. I beg.
Luis, you're on mute.
Okay, no problem. Yes, very good. When Giles cited the desperate ones who needed reincarnation, it came to my mind a speech by Chico Xavier, right? Or Chico Xavier, if you like. People asked him, how can you explain such disastrous and pitiful plight of people who were born in very difficult situations on the planet? And he said, every reincarnation is a blessing, because this kind of reincarnations, they clean the lower zones for those people who are desperate for forgiveness and forgetfulness. So when there aren't reincarnations that are not really evolving, as just Giles said, it's a matter of evolutional process that everybody is engaged in. So that's what just this comment.
Yeah, thank you, Luis. As a matter of fact, the book that we discussed the other day, in the world of regeneration and transition of the world of regeneration from Divaldo Franco, that's exactly what the spirits say, you know, that, you know, the lower realms are being empty right now because that's their chance to reborn, to reincarnate, and try one more time and see what they can do with this incarnation, how far they can go, how far they can improve themselves, and you know, step
And
up
I
a
have to
little bit.
laugh. I have to laugh because of all the miracles that are described, they actually, some Eastern master I read somewhere said, in fact, there are only 2 miracles. Everything's a miracle if you want, starting with an atom, but you get crazy about miracles. Let's just stick to reality. The reality is there are 2 miracles. One is how the spirit stays stuck to the body, because every time you go to sleep, it leaves it. So how does it stay stuck to the body? And it goes all over the place. It can go anywhere. And so how is it stuck to the body? That's the first miracle. The second miracle is the oblivion, the forgetfulness at birth. Because while it isn't perfect, because as usual, one size does not fit all, some people remember their previous incarnations, but it's never a good idea because you look back on your previous incarnations and you start seeing what you did. Oh, you can't stand it. And you see how you died and you see how you hurt people. And so I'm not in such a hurry to be looking back at my reincarnations, and whatever it is, I must have made up for it because I'm very lucky in this life. And I hope you all are too.
Okay, thank you, Giles. So any other comment, folks? Does anyone? Okay. So I'm gonna pick, Luis, would you please read the answer for us?
Okay. Yes, but this would be a trial that the spirit was aware of having to endure. The merit of individuals involved in such a trial will be based on their surrendering to God's will. If their intelligence does not free them from their troubles, if death occurs, they should accept it without complaint, remembering that their hour of true freedom has arrived, and that yielding the despair at the last minute, no matter how little, may cause them to lose the reward of their prior resignation. Wow. There you go.
Oh, that's unfair. I don't like that last bit.
I know. I was waiting for Giles' comment. Giles, please.
Sorry, I can't hold back on that. That is so unfair, that last thing. No, I don't agree with that last thing. I think the universe is absolutely fair, and I don't think that and look, if you're trying for atonement, why would you want to reincarnate in the middle of Ethiopia in a war, in a desert? You can't affect anything that way. You can't help people that way. All you do is get to the age of 10, get abused, given a machine gun, and die nastily.
Oh, but this is a very important point, Giles, you're tackling.
Exactly.
The
Because
dying
sometimes
nastily,
we were so bad in the past that we are born under circumstances that doesn't allow us to help, which would be our way out of our situation. You understand?
Exactly.
This is
Okay.
also a karma.
Wow.
And even Jesus Christ speaks about the Pharisees in these terms. He said, they cannot understand me, because if they do understand me, they will have the opportunity to be saved, but they can't be in this opportunity, right? They are religious people.
And it's also about picking the example from Giles, for example, somebody in Ethiopia during the war, so cannot help anybody, cannot save anybody, but it is about inner transformation of
Inner
that
transformation, yes.
individual, right?
If
So
you are, that's what it goes into the text, because once they asked one of these mediums, I forgot the medium here in Belarus, they asked him, a person who is sick in bed and cannot do anything good for anyone. And the person, if the person keeps patience and resignation, that's the charity that life is requesting from it, right? So that's the same thing you were saying.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell a story, but I may break down before I finish it because it's a very sad story or strong story. There was a couple in Chicago that had married, and they were in their 20s and decided not to have children because they wanted their careers. They wanted to make lots of money and influence people, and they were at different companies, so they didn't interfere with each other, but they certainly were interfering with society and the corporate way and all of the nastiness that's involved in that. And suddenly she got pregnant and a baby came. This girl was sick from the first day and smiled and died age 7 in pain, smiling all the way. They didn't know why this had happened till they went to a medium, and a medium told them that this was a very advanced spirit that had decided to reincarnate to help them, and that they had already realized themselves and changed their attitude and their behavior, and of course became less good at being corporate prostitutes and more good at helping people. So this incarnation was done by a higher spirit at considerable pain to itself in order to help people without pointing a finger at them. So that's a very complicated story, and it's something I read, and it struck me very much that if a higher spirit can do this, but this higher spirit can't do that if it incarnates in a child for 7 years in Ethiopian war, famine. It has to be in a city circumstance. So again, I'm pointing out that the people who take those incarnations must be very desperate. That's all.
That's a very nice example, Giles. Thank you for sharing. But yeah, only higher spirits they can endure such a difficulties and challenges. Yeah, for love, right? For love, because they do understand what love is. We still don't, per se. Any other comment? Nope. Okay, so shall we move on? Yes. So 709, when during extreme crisis where human beings are forced to consume the flesh of other human beings to survive, are they committing a crime? If so, does the fact their action is based on an instinct of self-preservation lessen the crime? The crime. So let me go back. When during extreme crisis where human beings are forced to consume the flesh of other human beings to survive, are they committing a crime? If so, does the fact their action is based on an instinct of self-preservation lessen the crime? Any comment? When I read this question, I remember it was a airplane crash that happened. I guess it was in the 70s, in the Andes mountain. And remember that, Luis? So lots of people died during that crash, but some of them survived, because the airplane somehow was able to land, but in terrible condition in one of the mountains, and then eventually learning that a rescue was not to come that easy, or in few days, the survivors, they saw themselves obligated to eat the flesh of the bodies of their colleagues. Some of them they knew. So every time that I remember this story, I was a little girl, but it's something appalling. It's something so terrible just thinking of it. And well, long story short, some of those young fellows, they made they had an agreement never talk about it. Once they were rescued, so they went back to their homes, but they made an agreement, never talked about it. And the fact is, they never forget. They never forgive themselves of what they've done. That's some of them. They did talk. They did speak to other people in very few interviews. They did, and the point is, they didn't forgive themselves of what they have to do. But they had to do. It was self-preservation thing. Art.
I think the only crime that would occur there is if they were actually murdering the people in order to eat them.
Yes.
The crime part, that's a human expression. And I think there was a situation in the earlier days of the United States when a group of people came over, got stranded in the wintertime, and ended up having to do cannibalism in order to survive.
Yeah. So I guess it's for our society, it's just inconceivable, right? We just don't. It's not natural. So I don't know. But it is a trauma. If you have to do this, it is a trauma that I don't want to be forced to. Any other comments?
Yes, I'm going to laugh at you. Of course, you don't want to comment on it because in the same situation, that's the kind of thing we would all do. And the question is, of course, I'm sorry, I've gone ahead and read the answer in my own book. So, and the answer is stinks. Again, its last comment is absolutely wrong. It says in the cases of that are referred to, there is both homicide and a crime against nature. So eating meat is a crime against nature. Homicide, what homicide? They were killed in the plane crash, or they were dying of hunger in Donner Pass. I think Gloria has put in Donner's Pass, California, where there was some horrible story in the Rocky Mountains. And then the question is, do they wait until the weakest person dies, or they kill them and eat them while they're still hot? And these are extraordinary situations and rare. I'm sorry, Art got that joke, but anyway, it's these are extraordinarily unusual situations, and suicide is an alternative. Oh, I won't eat. I'll do what Oates did in the Antarctic when there wasn't enough food for everybody. He went off and said, I'm just taking a walk. Don't come and look for me. And he went off and killed himself by walking in the dark and froze, of course. What was his name? Oates was his last name. I forget his first name. But it was the big expedition that was a total failure in the Antarctic. They brought mules and horses who immediately died, of course, and so on. Anyway, these are extraordinary circumstances, and yes, all kinds of stuff can turn up in incarnations, but everybody needs reminding. We don't have to incarnate as humans. There are 100,000 other planets with different civilizations on them, many of them actually civilized in this galaxy. We don't even have to go to a galaxy far, far away, as even Andromeda is. And we can incarnate in any one of those 100,000 different civilizations. So, as an Italian cook would say, or a French cook would say, what's your problem? Eat and enjoy. Sorry.
You go wherever your development and your frequency, or if you deserve, you can go to any other galaxy. But if you don't, yes, you stick here with us all together. Here we go. Josie.
I'll just make a comment, Giles. In the book here, it's very clear that's about killing somebody. So we are starving, me and you are in the desert, and I kill you because I want to eat you. I don't feel it's the same case of the plane where people are dead, and you just, I think that's.
Yeah. So Josie, would you please read the answer? Since you were the last. Come on, you can do it.
When during extreme crisis, where human beings are forced to consume the flesh of other human beings to survive, are they committing a crime? If so, does the fact their action is based on an instinct of self-preservation lessen the crime? I have already responded by saying that there is more merit in undergoing life's trials with courage and resignation. In this case, human beings resort to both homicide and commit a crime against nature. This results in dual culpability that receives dual autonomy.
So it's talking about killing each other, like Joseph was saying. It's not. Anything else?
Well, there's one remark here. What's the double punishment? Because the crime against nature is eating meat. Well, the fact is it's human meat. So what? Humans eat meat. They kill pigs, they kill horses, they kill dogs, they kill every damn thing that's on the planet and eat it, including insects. So why is that a crime against nature? I mean,
maybe Giles, instead of kill somebody, you should kill yourself and give your flesh for this person. Can you imagine? Can be
well,
like
exactly.
the other way around.
Crime. There's another crime. You're not supposed to kill yourself. So yes, that's a really complicated situation. And there, but for the grace of God, go I.
Maybe this is about resignation. Is anything, Luis, what do you think?
Well, I think it's something that we have to give second thoughts to it, because I think this dual culpability is because you're killing a human, right? So it's not only killing, but you're killing a human, which is a crime against nature, because our nature is not to kill equals, right?
Mm-hmm.
In this sense. Right?
Oh, where have you been living? Our nature as humans is to kill other people as soon as in every circumstance possible. They're shooting each other in America. 30,000 a year kill each other.
No,
I mean, it's
we cannot
the human nature is to kill everybody.
I'm not based on our behavior. I'm based on the laws of nature.
Okay, no, I know it is wrong to kill other people, but there's so many circumstances which humans get into where they feel it's right to kill other people.
Yeah.
Join the army and then see what happens. They teach you how to kill other people. And what's a handgun for anyway? Shooting deer? No, killing humans.
Yeah.
So we're a bunch of crazy
situation, right?
Yes.
I was remembering that the Spirit said that we are here to develop our humanity, to become humans, not angels yet. We are not humans. And there is a book from André Luiz, the Chico's biography, psychography, that he says that we are in the levels of the savages. We are not yet in the levels of humanity. Oh, well,
Oh, I quite
if
agree with
we
that.
were in the
But-
level of humans, really, with humanity, we wouldn't kill each other, but we are
That's right.
still
There
not
would be
in
a
this
real-
level.
There'd be a real
So-
civilization instead of a fake civilization like this one.
Yeah, fake civilization. And we
Exactly.
see that when we see people behaving like savages, even with a great suit. Yeah. So
Yeah, even
that's
even
the
when they
spirit
don't
level
have
that
to.
most of people is in this world, as the spirit said. And we agree with them. We are developing humanity. And one day we'll be angels. I don't know when, but one day.
You tackle a very good point, Livia, because in this case we are talking about an extreme example, but I swear that I have experienced people fighting over a bottle of water during a hurricane season. We are that low still fighting over a bottle of water. I saw that.
Or
Nobody
killing each
knows.
other over what was the last one? Somebody got shot in a fast food store because they had too much mayonnaise on their hamburger. There's a good Texan story for you. The customer shot the server behind the counter because he put too much mayonnaise on his. We're all mad.
Yep. Josie,
I just remember how many people die in the Black Friday. The whole crazy Black
oh
Friday.
yes.
Just
Yeah,
because you want
that's
the TV or you want the computer, that's going to be cheaper.
that's a very good one. Yes, yes. Luis,
And I remember that we are all in this situation. And when the spirit said that, it was Allan Kardec's time, the humanities were more humans. Besides the Second War, I don't know. Yeah, the people were more humanity. They were more humans, and they have more compassion, and they were different from nowadays. Imagine if they were in these days, they would say, oh, I think 99% of humans is not in level of humanity. I think they would say that. I don't know.
yeah, but remember, these times we had many books and messages saying, that these times the lower realms they're being empty, right? So we
Yeah.
have all kind of. Go ahead, Luis, please. I know
Everybody's down here now, right? The Chico used to say, the medievals are coming, right? Here comes the medievals, right? So, and nowadays I can see this. I can see this on the street, people's behavior, youngsters' behaviors, right? The other day I was walking down my street here and I was overhearing a young woman about 20 years old talking to her mother saying, Mom, I cannot divorce because if I divorce, the Holy Church won't allow me to get married again. And I will have to leave your house because you're saying some wrong things in my ear. This is the young lady talking to her mother, right? Look at the degree of fanaticism, the degree of blind faith. It's exactly the accomplishment of those prophecies that very different people will be reincarnated from the 60s on, right? We are there,
Yeah.
right? I'm included.
Yeah. So if you remember when we discussed about this book over here, well, I have the Portuguese version of it, but it's this book is talks about on the way of a world of regeneration. That's what this book is about. And remember when when I presented this book to this group, that's what exactly that the spirit says, that what Louise is saying. At this moment, we are living with every kind of spirits at every level, So we have people like Mother Teresa and we have people like, I don't know. I don't want to. Very low. So the
No risk.
scam is really something. I mean, I don't think this world has seen this span of, from the very low to the the very high that this world can actually accommodate. So that's what this book telling. Well, we have to deal with this kind of society made of all kind of individuals, given the very different levels of development from those spirits. Giles, you have something?
Yeah, absolutely. That's exactly right. What as far as I understand, someone, I unfortunately have lost the reference and just don't know where it came from. Perhaps somebody could tell me. That said, an Eastern master said, you need 1 million years incarnated as human to fill the human experience. Now, he said, that's if you don't do anything about it. If you just sit there and let everything happen to you, you need 1 million years incarnated and you will have filled the human experience. However, you can delay it by being selfish and cruel, and then you can string it out for a long, long time because you have to make atonement. And then the alternative is you can be a good person. You can shorten it by unselfish and generous behavior. So here we are. Entertainment is the true reality.
Yep. Maria, thank you. Thank you, Giles. Maria.
I want to share with you a real case that when I younger, I saw an airplane that was going from Brazil to Chile. With
Oh, that's what I mentioned. Yeah, that's what I.
That,
that's
yes. All right. Okay. Yes. All right.
Okay. Yeah, it was from Brazil to Chile, and then the airplane crashed in the mountains, in the Indians mountain, Andes. Okay, 710. In worlds where the physical makeup of living beings is purer than on Earth, do these beings need food? Any comments? And the answer is obviously because we are in the physical dimension. The answer obviously yes, but their food matches their nature. Their food would not be enough for your basic stomachs, and those beings could not digest your heavier food. Leda, please.
We don't know about other worlds, but in Astro City, they have, like I told you before in the study that we did about Astro City, they had a whole process of adaptation in order not to have meat. And they now when the book was written, they would only have juice and fruits and soups and juice. And they're here on Earth, but it's a higher colony, a higher city, Astro City, right? So this is something that we have to compare, to see that our way of feeding will improve as we improve ourselves. Our bodies will evolve as we evolve our minds and thoughts.
Exactly. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, thank you. Anyone else?
Well, yeah, it took me an awful long time, and I'm ashamed to say that it's only 15 years ago that I gave up eating meat in any form, anything that's a so-called living animal, shellfish, fish, 4 legs, 2 legs, you name it. And that because I'm living in North Carolina, and I saw briefly how they were doing it, what they were doing to these animals, and it came over me in a wave, everything that I had learned about the mistreatment of animals by humans and the total unnecessary behavior of eating meat all the time. And so anyway, I stopped. Art, what's your story?
Thank you, Josh.
In the spirit world, there is no need to eat. There is no animal food in the spirit world. And usually it's, there's no waste products either. So anything you eat is directly converted to energy. A lot of the beings there just drink fruit juice. And that's all that they intake.
Yeah,
Yes,
that's
spirit
exactly
light.
right. And that's very correct. And yeah, we would not need any food. However, we are so close still to this physical reality, and we are very much attached to the physical reality that when we transition to the spiritual realm, we still believe that we are hungry and we still need something to sustain our body. Because the point is, as you transition to the other side, you can touch yourself, you feel yourself as concrete as I'm touching myself right now. And it's hard to believe that you were actually a spirit, you were not a human being. So thus the spirit feels hungry and feels like eating something, but when in reality, no, it doesn't need. Okay, any other comment? I guess we should stop here because it's almost 4:15.
No, come on, do one more.
No, I'm gonna be mean to you today. No, yeah. I have a hard stop.
Just point out that the real problem on the in the afterlife is the apparently billions of people, humans, that don't know that they're dead, and they're going on living in the same way. And Jürgen Zhu has talked about this, and anybody else talks about this till they are blue in the face, that the humans get the other side and I'm not dead, look at it. If I hit you, it hurts, right? And so on. And they go to work in cars. And
they live just like us here, right?
Yes.
They live just like us here. They do that. They make their cities, their towns. We're talking about the lower zones. They just don't care, right?
This is
not
a
pun,
real
okay, Tom?
problem.
This is not a pun, okay, Tom? They don't care.
Yeah, it's a real problem because you can't get in there and do social work because they get angry with you and jump on you or shoot you or something. Oh dear, I think I've been to places like that, and it's uncomfortable. And of course I wake up, but I don't know. I mean, Jalaluddin al-Rumi talked about it in 1600. He said, you wake up in a dream and find yourself in a strange city. You never ask why, how come you got here and what are you doing in this city? That's a Persian philosopher of the 16th century saying it, and it's been a problem, and it's an increasing problem. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to have to do our share of social work one way or another. But if you can't tell these people anything, how the hell?
Yeah, 30 Years Among the Dead, the whole book is full of stories like you're speaking of there.
Who's the author, Art?
Yeah.
Carl Wickland, MD.
Carl Wickland.
Would you please type it on the chat? Alrighty.
30 years.
What is the title?
Amongst the dead.
30 years among the dead.
The dead, no?